Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
So, today we're tackling a big one, procrastination, that feeling, where you have this really important thing to do.
And suddenly, everything else seems absolutely critical. Dusting the top of the bookshelf, maybe?
Exactly. It's just a sticky trap, right? But it doesn't have to be.
No, definitely not. And for this deep dive, we're leaning heavily on some classic wisdom, mainly from Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. It's just packed with really practical, straightforward stuff.
Right. So our mission today, think of us as your guides, maybe your coaches, through this material. We want to pull out the most powerful strategies from these sources.
To really help you, our listener, figure out how to tackle those tough tasks.
Yeah.
Break through that inertia and actually get the important things done.
We'll explore the ideas, talk about why they work, how you can use them, basically trying to get to the heart of the matter.
Think of it as finding the keys to unlock that productivity puzzle.
Okay, let's dive in then. Part 1, facing the big, ugly frog. That's the core idea, isn't it?
It really is. Such a great metaphor. That big, ugly frog, it's that one task, the hardest, most important one on your list.
The one you dread, the one you keep pushing back.
Yep, we all have them, staring us in the face. And the absolute first step, the foundation to this whole thing, is step 1. Eat the frog first.
It sounds simple, maybe even a bit brutal.
Well, the logic is surprisingly powerful. The source basically says, if you know you have to eat this frog, this unpleasant but necessary task, do it first thing. Tackle it before anything else.
And the why behind that is crucial. The source points out that the stress, the fear you feel about it, it doesn't vanish until you actually start.
Exactly. The moment you take that first bite, metaphorically speaking, the anxiety starts to fade. You get this immediate burst of momentum.
And this feeling of power, knowing the worst part of your day is already behind you.
Yeah, and that quote really nails it. If you have to eat a frog, don't look at it too long.
Right, because just staring at it, thinking about how awful it is.
This makes it seem bigger and heavier in your mind. Waiting actually makes it worse. Action is the antidote.
Okay, so identify the frog, tackle it immediately, but how do you even know which frog to eat first thing? That leads to step 2, set the table.
This is so important because, as the book notes, most of us just react to the day. We wake up, grab the phone, emails flood in, other people's priorities take over.
And we haven't actually decided what our most important thing is, our frog for the day.
Right. Setting the table is about taking control right at the start, deciding with real clarity what absolutely needs to get done today. The recommendation is pretty specific. Write down your top 3 goals or tasks for the day.
It's like prepping your workspace, isn't it? Clearing the decks before you start cooking or working.
Exactly. And be specific, not just work on the report. Write 2 pages of the report, or send the final proposal to client X, or 30 minutes intense workout at the gym.
And the source really stresses writing it down, physically writing it.
There's something about that physical act. It makes it tangible, less of a wishy-washy thought and more like a real commitment you've made to yourself.
Okay, so setting the table gives you clarity, and that clarity feeds right into step 3. Use the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle.
The classic. 20% of what you do tends to produce 80% of your results. It's a fundamental principle of effectiveness.
So when you're looking at your tasks, even your frogs, you need to get strategic. Which ones are in that vital 20%?
Exactly. Because not all tasks have the same weight. You've got to pinpoint those high-value activities, the ones that really move the needle on your big goals. Often, these are the frogs.
Could be that one crucial sales call, right? Or finishing that core feature in the product.
Yeah.
Or even just making that healthy meal that keeps your energy up.
Or having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. And there's that Tony Robbins quote tied to this. It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped.
So the decision isn't just what to do, but deciding which tasks matter most and then committing to doing those, focusing on effectiveness, not just being busy.
Right. But then, if only 20% gives you 80% of the results, what about the other 80% of tasks? This leads to a really interesting idea in step 4, creative procrastination.
Wait, creative procrastination? That sounds like an oxymoron. Good procrastination.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but it makes sense. The idea is you consciously choose to delay, delegate, or just flat out eliminate the low-value stuff.
Yeah.
The 80% of tasks that only yield 20% of the results.
So you're saying it's okay not to have a perfectly clean inbox all the time?
Exactly, or to stop scrolling through news feeds endlessly just because they're there. It's about being ruthless and protecting your energy for the high-impact tasks, your frogs.
Learning to say no to things that aren't priorities.
It's a strategic choice. Procrastinate on the trivial so you have the bandwidth for the vital.
Okay, that makes sense. And to help sort the vital from the trivial, step 5 gives us a tool, the ABCDE method.
Yeah, this is super practical. A simple way to prioritize any list. You just label everything. A is must do, serious negative consequences if you don't.
B is should do, maybe minor consequences. C is nice to do, but no real impact if it doesn't happen.
D is delegate, give it to someone else.
Yeah.
And E is eliminate, just get rid of it altogether. It doesn't need doing.
And the rule is strict, right?
Absolutely. The core principle is never ever do a B task if there's an A task left undone. Never touch a C if a B is waiting. You focus relentlessly on the A tasks first.
Those are your frogs.
Precisely. The analogy used is great. Your to-do list is like a swamp. Trying to drain the whole thing at once is overwhelming.
But identifying the single biggest, ugliest frog in that swamp.
And focusing all your energy just on that one first.
Yeah.
That's doable and incredibly effective.
Okay, so we've covered identifying the frog, setting the stage, prioritizing it, even ignoring the less important stuff. But one frog down doesn't mean the battle is won, right? We need momentum. Let's shift into part 2, building unstoppable momentum.
Yeah, because once you've tasted that success of eating the first frog, you want to keep it going. And step 6 is really key here. Focus on your key result areas.
Key result areas. What exactly does the source mean by that?
It's about identifying the core activities you absolutely have to do well to succeed in whatever role you're in, or to hit your main goals. Some activities just matter more.
So it's asking yourself, what am I really responsible for achieving?
Right. Or what tasks, if I did them exceptionally well, would generate the biggest positive impact? Or which single area, if I got better at it, would unlock the most progress overall?
So for a business owner, maybe it's lead generation or closing sales. For a student, effective study habits.
For a parent, maybe it's focus, quality time with the kids. It's very specific to your situation.
And there's that powerful quote from Brian Tracy. Your weakest key result area sets the height of your performance.
Oof, yeah, that hits home. You can be great at 9 out of 10 things, but if that one weak area is critical,
it holds everything else back. It's the bottleneck.
Which leads perfectly into step 7. Apply the law of 3.
The law of 3. Tell me more.
It's a really practical exercise. You list out everything you typically do in a week, all the tasks, big and small. Then, you force yourself to choose just 3.
The 3 tasks that represent your absolute most valuable contribution.
Exactly. Not the urgent stuff that pops up, not the easy checkoffs. The 3 things that, if you consistently nail them week after week, would drive 80–90% of your most important results.
The source had that example of Emma, the designer.
Yeah, great example. She felt totally swamped. Did the exercise, realized her 3 core value drivers were finding new clients, doing the actual creative design work, and learning new design software.
So she restructured her whole week around those 3 things.
Spent like 80% of her time focused just on those 3 frogs. And the result? Doubled her income and felt way less stressed.
That's powerful. So the challenge for you listening is, what are your 3 weekly frogs? What are those top 3 value drivers you should prioritize above almost everything else?
Make them non-negotiable. Now, even when you know the frog, sometimes just getting started feels like pushing a boulder uphill. Step 8 tackles this. Prepare thoroughly before you begin.
This seems basic, but how often do we put off a task just because we haven't set up for it?
All the time. Think about cooking. That analogy from the source is perfect. If your kitchen's a mess, dirty pans, no clean counter space, ingredients hidden away.
Just the thought of starting dinner is exhausting.
Right. You waste energy finding stuff, getting frustrated. But if the kitchen's clean, tools are out, ingredients prepped.
Starting feels almost effortless, smooth.
It's the same with mental work. Preparation clears the friction. The book suggests practical things. Clear your desk, gather all your files or materials, close distracting browser tabs, silence your phone notifications.
Physical clarity leads to mental clarity.
Totally. Even just 5 minutes of prep, like an athlete warming up, can make a huge difference in lowering that barrier to starting.
Okay, but what if the frog isn't just ugly, it's gigantic? Like writing a book-sized frog. That's where step 9 comes in. 1 oil barrel at a time.
I love this analogy. It comes from this story about crossing a huge 500-mile desert. Impossible to see the end.
So how do they do it?
They placed oil barrels every 5 miles. Their entire focus wasn't the 500 miles, it was just reaching the next barrel, 5 miles away.
So you break down the overwhelming goal into small, manageable steps.
Exactly. A Apply it to your monster frogs. Don't focus on finish the whole dissertation. Focus on write the next paragraph, or maybe just outline the next section.
Progress over perfection. Focus on the immediate next step.
If writing that book feels impossible, maybe the goal today is just 300 words, learning Spanish. Just 10 new vocabulary words today. It's about consistent, small bites.
Like that Denzel Washington quote the source mentions, you pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too.
Yeah, progress isn't always neat. It's about navigating those smaller, sometimes muddy steps along the way.
Now, sometimes the reason we avoid the frog isn't just its size. It's a fear we aren't good enough to handle it. Step 10 addresses this. Upgrade your key skills.
That makes a lot of sense. If a task requires a skill you feel shaky in, avoidance is a natural reaction.
Procrastination can definitely be a mask for feeling inadequate or fearing failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the flip side is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Actively working to improve a relevant skill builds confidence. And confidence is like kryptonite to procrastination.
So the action step is identify one specific skill that, if you improved it, would make tackling your key frogs easier or faster.
And then make a plan to level up that skill. The source gives examples. Scared of public speaking. Join a group. Sales calls feel like a frog. Listen to sales podcasts. Read a book. Writing block you. Take a workshop on structure.
As your ability grows, the fear shrinks, makes the frog less intimidating.
Precisely. And related to skills, but slightly different, is step 11. Leverage your strengths.
So this isn't about fixing weaknesses, but doubling down on what you're already good at.
Exactly. Identify your natural talents. What comes easily? What do you enjoy doing? What do people consistently praise you for? These are your superpowers.
And the idea is don't spend all your energy trying to be mediocre at everything. Lean into your strength, especially for your important tasks.
Right? Don't just focus on patching up minor weaknesses if you have a major strength that could drive huge results much faster.
Like that story of Jacob in the source material. Hired for numbers, but hated it.
Yeah. He realized his real gift was storytelling.
Yeah.
So instead of forcing himself through spreadsheets, he hired someone for that and focused all his energy on crafting compelling narratives for clients.
And his business took off.
Because he was operating in a zone of genius. That Brian Tracy quote sums it up. Do more of what you're great at and less of what drains you. Success often comes from really excelling at the few things you do best.
Okay, so we've got strategies for identifying frogs, prepping, breaking them down, building skills, using strengths. Now, part 3, mastering time and energy. This feels crucial for actually finishing things in today's world.
Totally. And the first step here, step 12, is about finding the real roadblock. Identify your key constraints.
Constraints, like bottlenecks.
Exactly. The water hose analogy is perfect. If the water's not flowing, you don't need a bigger hose, you need to find the kink. What's blocking the flow?
So progress on our goals is often held back by one single thing.
Often, yes. A key constraint. Could be a missing skill, like that example of Maria needing web skills for her online store.
Or it could be a bad habit, maybe a limiting belief like I'm not good enough.
Or lack of a resource, or even a toxic environment draining your energy. The crucial question the source pushes is, what's the one thing that if I resolved it would make everything else move forward faster?
Finding that kink, that main bottleneck, that might be the most important frog to eat right now.
Because fixing it can unlock progress across the board.
Okay, so you find the constraint. How do you make sure you actually tackle it, or any frog for that matter? Step 13, put the pressure on yourself.
This is about shifting from relying on external deadlines, the boss, the client, the due date, to creating internal urgency.
Becoming your own demanding boss, in a way.
Kind of. It's about setting your own deadlines and holding yourself accountable. The source suggests a simple sticky note method.
Write the frog task on a note.
Set a specific, maybe slightly aggressive deadline right there on the note. Finish draft by 11 a.m. and stick it where you see it. Then, honestly track if you hit it.
And doing that consistently builds the muscle of self-discipline.
Exactly. You train yourself to act without waiting for external pressure. It taps into that idea. Brian Tracy talks about delaying immediate gratification, like procrastinating, for bigger, long-term rewards, like getting things done.
Makes sense. But all this action requires energy, which brings us to step 14, a really fundamental one. Maximize your personal powers.
Yes. You are not just a thinking machine, you're a biological system.
Yeah.
Like an athlete, your performance depends massively on your physical and mental energy.
Sleep, hydration, nutrition, movement, breaks. These aren't optional extras if you want peak performance.
Absolutely not. Low energy, directly tanks your willpower, your focus, your ability to resist distractions and tackle hard things. Your best plans crumble if you're exhausted.
The source suggests tracking your energy levels, not just your time. That's interesting.
Yeah, noticing when you're most focused. What foods fuel you versus drain you? What activities truly recharge you? Is it sleep, a walk, quiet time?
So treating your body well isn't selfish, it's strategic. It directly fuels your ability to execute.
It's the foundation. And speaking of fuel, step 15 is about mental fuel. Motivate yourself into action.
But doesn't motivation come before action? Don't I need to feel motivated first?
That's the common myth. The source argues, quite compellingly, that often action creates motivation. You start doing the thing, even if you don't feel like it.
And the feeling of making progress, however small, actually generates the motivation to keep going.
Exactly. You don't wait to feel like eating the frog. You take a small bite, and that sparks the motivation.
Do you need to be your own cheerleader? Positive self-talk, visualization.
All of it. Affirmations like, I can handle this. Visualizing success. Celebrating tiny wins. Remember that principle. You become what you think about most of the time. Think like an action taker.
And that simple trick, just 10 focused minutes.
Oh, that's gold. Tell yourself, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'll just do 10 solid minutes. Set a timer. Start. More often than not, that breaks the inertia. 10 minutes becomes 20. Maybe you even finish. Always remember, done is better than perfect.
Okay, but even with motivation, there's the modern minefield. Distractions. Step 16 is crucial. Escape the technological time traps.
Ugh, yes. Phones, notifications, emails, endless feeds. They are designed to fragment our attention. The source is clear. This constant interruption kills the deep focus needed for serious work, for eating frogs.
Multitasking is basically a myth, isn't it?
Pretty much, for deep work anyway. So you need to be ruthless. Put the phone on silent, maybe even in another room. Delete or hide the most distracting apps. Use website blockers.
Schedule specific times for email checks instead of having it always open.
Definitely. Treat your focused time like gold. Protect it fiercely. Every notification ping is a potential frog-eating derailment.
We talked about breaking tasks down, and step 17 circles back to that. Slice and dice the task.
It's reinforcing that point because it's so effective against overwhelm. Big, vague tasks are scary. Scary tasks get procrastinated on.
So instead of write presentation,
You break it down into tiny steps. Open PowerPoint. Brainstorm 5 key points. Create title slide. Write intro paragraph. Find image for slide 2. Tiny, concrete actions.
makes it feel much less daunting. Easier to start the first small slice.
And you get a little dopamine hit each time you check off a slice. Builds momentum, builds confidence. You're eating the frog one small bite at a time.
But to do that slicing and dicing effectively, you need uninterrupted time. Step 18, create large chunks of time.
Yes, deep work just cannot happen, those little 5-minute gaps between meetings or emails. Brian Tracy calls for blocking off significant chunks of time, like focus bricks in your schedule.
And guarding that time.
Like a hawk. Minimum 90 minutes is a good target. Shut the door, turn off all notifications, let people know you're unavailable, make it sacred time for your most important task.
The source suggests even doing this just 2 or 3 times a week can make a massive difference.
Huge difference. It's where the real progress happens on the big stuff. It's dedicating time to actually eat the frog, not just nibble at it.
Okay, nearly there. Step 19 is about mindset again. Develop a sense of urgency.
This isn't about frantic rushing. It's about cultivating an inner bias for action, a habit of moving promptly once a decision is made, not delaying unnecessarily.
Like that Napoleon Hill quote, "The time will never be just right. Start where you stand."
Exactly. Don't wait for perfect conditions, the perfect mood, all the stars to align. Practice deciding, then practice starting immediately.
Momentum builds momentum.
It really does. Action fuels more action. Urgency in this sense is about initiating that first action quickly.
And finally, step 20 pulls it all together for maximum focus. Single handle every task.
This is the antidote to multitasking madness. True effectiveness, especially on important tasks, comes from giving 100% of your attention to one thing until it is completely finished.
Start it, stay with it, finish it, then move on.
The mantra suggested is powerful. Until this is done, nothing else exists.
Yeah.
That level of mental commitment, that focus, it dramatically boosts speed, quality, and that feeling of accomplishment.
It's about truly finishing the frogs you start, not leaving a trail of half-eaten amphibians behind you.
Well put. Prevents that feeling of being scattered across dozens of unfinished things.
Wow. Okay. That was quite the journey through 20 really practical strategies, from identifying that big scary frog and setting your priorities.
To building momentum, using your skills and strengths, managing your energy, and mastering focus to actually finish strong.
And that core message from Eat That Frog is quite empowering, isn't it? You're probably not lazy or unmotivated.
Right, maybe just overwhelmed or stuck or lacking the right system. But now, hopefully you have a toolkit, strategies you can actually use.
Because conquering procrastination, boosting productivity, it isn't magic. It's about building habits. One decision, one focused action at a time, consistently.
So thinking about everything we've just discussed, here's something for you listening to maybe chew on. What is your very next frog? That single most important, maybe slightly daunting task that you'll commit to tackling first thing, today or tomorrow.
Or thinking about step 12, the constraints. What's the one biggest bottleneck holding you back right now? The single thing that if you solved it would make everything else flow better. And which strategy from today might help you tackle that specific constraint?
Some food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope these ideas help you start eating your own frogs and building that unstoppable momentum.